Austin has grown tremendously in recent years, including its reputation for arresting lots of people for DWI. Over 6,000 people are arrested for DWI each year in Travis County, prompting the Austin Police Department to rev up the No Refusal program more than ever before. However, with a name like No Refusal, some people are confused about what rights they actually have. In Texas, drivers agree to comply with the laws of the Texas Transportation Code in order to receive a driver's license. Section 724.011 of the Transportation Code states that if a person is arrested for DWI, that person is deemed to have consented to provide a blood or breath specimen to determine his or her alcohol concentration. Section 724.012 goes on to state that there are three specific circumstances in which a specimen can be taken by force: if there has been an accident, if there's a child in the car, or if the suspect has a previous DWI conviction. If one of these three circumstances has not occurred and a person refuses a blood or breath test, police officers are prohibited from collecting a blood or breath specimen from that person. So if the law states that a person has the right to refuse a blood or breath test after they're under arrest for DWI, how does the no refusal program even work? It's a little confusing, so I'll try to explain. No Refusal is funded by grants from the Texas Department of Transportation, with some of the funding going toward paying a magistrate to remain on call between the hours of 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. each night the no refusal period is active. This allows arresting officers to receive approved warrants in about half an hour, sometimes even less. Once the warrant has been approved, police officers are then able to draw the suspect's blood by force. Austin police draw the blood themselves at the Travis County Jail, either inside the jail or at the Mobile Blood Alcohol Testing Unit, a large bus equipped to service blood draws quickly, parked less than a block away from the jailhouse. Sam Selby, a 27-year-old Austin resident, was arrested for DWI on November 25th and refused the breathalyzer. This is his account of what happened afterwards.
So at that point, they had already booked me. I had gone through the sobriety screening process where you walk the line, you follow the light with your eyes, um, and I failed the walk pretty miserably. I didn't do too well on that. I think I did all right on the eye examination.
Yeah.
I definitely stood up straight for him. I mean, I went the whole 9 yards on that. Probably botched it. So he had taken me into custody and brought me in and processed me and had put me in the holding cell. And from there, I just sat there and waited. And then finally, I heard a woman call my name, and she took my photograph, obviously for processing. I went back down and sat down again, and the officer that arrested me called me into another room where he had a warrant issued for a search of my blood. That was issued by a judge, and I had no control over it. I had no idea what was going on, but I was told to sign a piece of paper and to give him my arm so he could take a sample of my blood.
So, like, how long would you say it took them to produce the warrant?
I would say from me entering the jail and during my processing, it took them about an hour.
About an hour.
About an hour.
So, like, within the time frame of an hour, they got that done.
Right.
But it may not have taken an hour.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And so they had you sign that, and so you said the cop drew your blood himself.
Correct.
Like, gotta describe that procedure. Like,
So when I went into the room that they called me into,
well, I guess
they had
time out before going into that. Have you ever had your blood drawn before, like doing the plasma donation or blood donation, or in any kind of circumstance where there was a trained person doing it, like
Yes.
like a nurse or someone?
Yes,
Okay.
I've been to hospitals where they've drawn my
So
blood.
so you've had your blood drawn by someone who's following the correct procedure.
Correct.
Okay. So now, like, tell me how the cops did it, and if it was any different from.
I will say the cop probably did not know how to do it as well as the
Okay.
nurse did. That is a fact.
Right.
There was bruising on my arm afterwards, obviously. It was a little more rough, but he still got the blood. He just probably wasn't as accurate as a phlebotomist or a nurse would have been. But, I mean, he's a cop, he's not a nurse. But yes, the cop did take my blood. He was rough. Like I said, there was a little more bruising on my arm afterwards. It was a much more visible scar than what a nurse would have left. But he still did it efficiently, I would say. So, but yeah, like I said, I went into the room. He had me sign a piece of paper. I guess acknowledging that I understood the conditions of him drawing my blood and why he was doing it. Search it for alcohol because that was the premise of my arrest. As to how the warrant is issued or the whole processing, I'm completely unaware of because, like I said, this is my firsthand experience of it. I went in the holding cell. Waiting in the holding cell, I was called into a room and the warrant was already there. It had been issued by a judge. I don't know where the judge was. Obviously, there's a judge that you see later on in the evening with your booking and your processing. Could have been the same judge. Who knows? But signed the piece of paper, gave him my arm, and he took my blood. If I refused to sign the piece of paper, he would have taken my blood anyways because it is a warrant. It's
And
issued,
the whole No Refusal Act. Yeah.
Right, and the whole no refusal thing, it means that you cannot refuse. You have to give your blood.
One important distinction is that no refusal only kicks in once you've been arrested. You still retain the right to refuse field sobriety tests during a no refusal period. No refusal exists to gather strong blood alcohol evidence for prosecutors to quickly convict people like Sam for DWI. The Austin Police Department says about half the results from blood draws that required a warrant come back above the legal limit of .08. The no refusal program may not stop drunk driving altogether, but it makes it very hard for people who are arrested to win in court.